This from the Bleacher Report, and stop me if you've heard this before, Quincy. 8 riskiest contracts signed in free agency. Jerry Jeudy, 3 years, $52.5 million. Jeudy has never posted a 1,000-yard yard season. Never caught 70 passes or scored 70 times. He's also missed time every year except his rookie contract. There's a reason Jeudy was available so cheaply. It's because the Broncos mismanaged their cap, but that's a different story. And the Browns are paying the 24-year-old as if he's the player Denver hoped he would be when they drafted him. No, they're not. They're paying him like a high-end number 2. It averages to about $16.5, $17 million a year. And the wide receiver market, as we just said, is going up.
I wonder how this article would be if Justin Simmons signed somewhere for $17 million, right? Oh, there's a reason they got rid of him, right? Like, oh, no, it just didn't make sense for them. They're not trying to win right now. This is a player who, he had a bad run with the media there as well, right? Like, obviously created an environment in which it was not fostering a ton of success there in Denver. But it's the perception of him and the production he's put down just are so far different. I haven't seen something like this since like when Odell was here and he had 1,000 yards, but you would have swore he was only putting up like 300 yards the way people were talking about it. Like I just think he needs to get away from whatever the perception of him was in Denver and just need a new start. And people just seem just bent on making sure that that he didn't live up to his draft potential. But that's not what the Browns signed. The Browns didn't sign at the same level that the best wide receiver in that draft class went for. Michael Pittman got more money than him. They signed for what the 4th or 5th best wide receiver probably got in that draft class, which is Jerry Jeudy. Right.
And again, if he does what the Browns think he's going to do, it ends up being a bargain for him because they think he's going to be a high-end number 2. The other thing, here's what I would say. The perception of Jerry Jeudy in Denver is a lot like the perception of Jedrick Wills with a lot of people in Cleveland. People look at Jedrick Wills and they say he's not this and he's not that, and he's an okay starting left tackle in the NFL. But they look at him relative to Joe Thomas and the 10th pick overall, and he hasn't performed to that level.
Yeah, I mean, he's been about what would get you $17 million in the NFL as a wide receiver, right? Like,
yep.
Maybe a little bit below that, but about what it is. So, like, for this to be a risky contract is the part that blows my mind. Like, it's a risky contract. Like, you're paying him basically for the production that he's had and maybe a slight increase. And that increase is more about targets. A thing that people don't bring up when they talk about these arbitrary barriers that they use for him. Oh, he hasn't had a 1,000-yard season. Well, what does he average per reception? He's averaged 14 yards per reception, which tells you if he got more targets, he would probably be a 1,000-yard wide receiver. In the year where he did get north of 100 targets, he was 20 yards away from 1,000 yards. So what is this arbitrary barrier that we're using? It's like we know that exists, but when it comes to Jerry Jeudy and building an argument that we don't like about him, okay, let's go ahead and say he didn't have 1,000 yards and ignore the fact that he had 970 in like 12 games in 2022 with Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett.